So today I decided to make a quick little video to go over what to do when you guys are living with a boyfriend, a roommate, or a family member and you both are on the lease. Do not just walk away from your apartment and think that someone else is going to be paying your rent. Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to be going over a few tips on how to get out of your lease and your contract if you're living with roommates or if you're actually living with a spouse or in an unsafe situation. So I've spoken to so many people that are in the middle of trying to apply for an apartment, but they're not able to because they have a balance or an eviction on their credit, and now they have to pay that balance. And I don't want that to happen to you. So if you are living with roommates or you have a spouse, keep these tips fresh in your mind in case you have a friend or if you need them yourself. So let's get into it. So number one is going to be, make sure you're talking to all your roommates and let them know the reason why you want to relocate or why you just want to get your name off the lease or the reason why you don't want to finish the lease. It could be maybe you lost a job or you're relocating, or it could be any situation. But if you communicate with your roommates, I think that they will understand. Just kind of have that mutual understanding so that way you're able to get your name off the lease and then everybody can be happy. Or sometimes you can find someone to replace you if they cannot afford the apartment. But you really want to also make sure that you tell your landlord. So communicating with your landlord, finding out if they have an addendum, because sometimes with roommates they do have an addendum where everybody that's on the lease come down and you guys can actually just agree that they're giving you permission to release you from the lease, and that you sign and you're going to give the keys and you're basically going to pay the amount that you want to pay. Most of the time you don't get your deposit back. It's basically still there. So you're just gonna have to leave that with the people that stay in the apartment. With the addendum, it really helps out because the apartment complex actually will release you and take your name off of the lease, and you don't have to worry about it. Make sure that before you sign an application or get approved for an apartment, you ask them, what are the regulations? What are the rules in case I have to leave early or one of my roommates is going to leave early? What is our responsibility? Make sure you understand all the rules and steps you have to take before getting into an apartment when you're living with multiple people. If you're living with a spouse and maybe things are not working out with you guys, just let them know, listen, I'm going to leave you in the apartment, but I'm going to take myself out the lease. A lot of times that doesn't work the way you want it to work because they don't want you to take their name out the lease, or sometimes you're leaving someone that's not on the lease. So you really want to go ahead and talk to your landlord and let them know, listen, I'm going to terminate this lease. Even though the person is not on the lease, you have to sit down and communicate and make sure that you both are in the same agreement, that you are not going to leave her in the apartment paying or thinking they're going to pay. It could be a he or she, that they're going to be paying the apartment while you leave. You never want to assume that, because once you leave them with the key and you walk out, they can actually leave the apartment because they don't have the amount of money to pay it, or they just don't want to live there because it brings them memories, or they just don't want to be there and they want to start a new life as well. So make sure if you are with a spouse that you literally talk to the apartment complex and let them know your situation. Sometimes you can pretty much just take your name off the lease, leave them there, and then you don't have to worry about it. If that's your spouse, if you have children, you can always go to court and just kind of get that taken care of. Or if you just want to kind of get rid of the apartment, just make sure that you're giving them 2-month notice. So if you want to leave that person in the apartment, just leave them there. It's okay. But as long as your name is out of the contract, you don't have to worry about that person is going to leave or skip out on a monthly rent, and it's not going to show up in your credit later on in the future when you're trying to find an apartment, because I have spoken to so many people that are dealing with that at this current time, and they're trying to pay that off because they need an apartment. So make sure you guys take the right steps, the right decision, and make the right choices before you leave any unit, no matter how heated the conversation is, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. Make sure you sit down and you communicate with your roommates and with your landlord so you don't have to deal with this later on in the future. I hope that these tips inspired you and also just kind of get you prepared and kind of think out the box when you are planning to move with roommates, because things change after 3 months, 6 months, a year. People change, things happen, and it's okay. We all have different situations, and our life change spontaneously. So don't take it to the heart. Just basically make sure that you take the right precautions for your future. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to smash that notification bell so you can get my next video. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.